This is the weekly sales meeting for November 27th, 2022. My name is Chris Fleming. You can reach me at chris@cdmediaconsulting.com or go to our website at cdmediaconsulting.com. Today's topic is, does the first person to mention money really lose? Conventional sales wisdom and longtime sales trainers will argue about when to bring up the subject of price, especially when it comes to selling goods and services. The old school thought from the dark ages when I was selling was the price was the only thing that mattered to the customer. Bring it up last after you had finished your presentation. The intermediate school suggested we should mention pricing after we have the customer hooked on the idea. This way they are bought in and less likely to have price resistance. But the new school of data suggests getting the price on the table is healthy. Getting it on the table early in the conversation increases sales success rates in all industries. Setting expectations, no matter how big or small, puts people at ease. When pricing aligns with the first glance or comes in under expectations, sales success rates rise. Writer Liz Ryan wrote an article for Forbes in 2016 in which she asked that question. The article was entitled, "Whoever Mentions a Number First Loses. Is it still good advice?" Now, she was referencing a job interview, but we should ask this advice about business-to-business sales efforts too. Is it still good advice? How about a resounding no? My suggestion is to get the price on the table early and often. It sets the table of expectations for every future conversation about your product. I maintain that customer assigns a number to you, tattoos it on your forehead, only you can't see it. Wouldn't you rather that price be bigger than smaller? Especially if you get paid on commission. If we take lessons from auto dealers and jewelry sellers, they know this. They set expectations early. They show you the single most expensive item they have available, and they do it in the first meeting. Why? It sets your expectations from the start. Everything else becomes framed from that vantage point. There is a full 100 years of empirical data available from these industries. It all supports this theory. In fact, don't shy away from your pricing, even if you are the most expensive item in town. If you woke up this morning expecting to close 100% of all sales opportunities, you will be disappointed. In any given product category, less than 4% of buyers are active at any one time. And the higher the price, the lower the number. Who is in the market for a grand piano today? Conrad Hilton said the buyer is entitled to a bargain. The seller is entitled to a profit. So there is a fine margin in between where the price is right. But it is amazing to see how right the price is when the seller announces the price in the beginning. It is akin to retailers who publish price tags. Human beings come to justify what they want with their own logic points. Call it pretzel logic. That is not only the title of a 1974 Steely Dan record, it is a method of thinking most use to justify their purchases. It only makes sense in the mind of the beholder. Yes, price and value are related, but often at opposite ends of the spectrum of conversation. Many become so fixated on price they have blinders to real value, while others are so value conscious that they throw caution to the wind on pricing. The relationship is intertwined. As the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, says, price is what you pay, value is what you get. Often the value proposition gets masked by price fixation, and that is the challenge of the salesperson. Create value when your prospect has the inability to see its clear path. You have to position your product as a solution to a problem, not as a single product for sale. Leo McGivena was the publicity manager of the New York Daily News in the 1940s. He wrote, last year over 1 million quarter-inch drills were sold, not because people wanted quarter-inch drills, but because they wanted quarter-inch holes. When you buy an automobile, you buy transportation. When you buy a mattress, you are buying comfortable sleep. And when you buy carbon paper, what's that? You are buying copies. Remember, you are solving a problem, not selling a product. Charlie Munger is the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. Some say he is Warren Buffett's work spouse. He claims a great business at a fair price is superior to a fair business at a great price. People are willing to pay when they deem a reasonable price for solving their problem. But without that frame of reference, they will come to their own conclusion on what it is worth. That could be based on prior experience. It could be based on the current climate, or their cousin Jimmy, who did something similar in East Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And then good luck overcoming that perception. That is now cast in stone. A sledgehammer won't break that perception. The information age has ushered in the age of disinformation, where mistruths printed online become fact, and the words of the salesperson are mistrusted more than ever. This is why we strive to become advisors to our customers and not product peddlers. Product peddlers can get dismissed as easy as they walk through the door. Advisors are sought out for their knowledge and expertise. Work on framing the price using peer validation. Work off the average pricing and recommended pricing. Here is what our average customer is doing, and here is what our best customers are doing, and here is what I recommend for you. My friend Chris Lytle taught me about framing the largest order. He would have conversations with his customers about the most they could buy from him. He would show them what that looks like. I have used this technique with success. Go look up Chris and his largest order conversation and see how this gets done. It is another way to frame the conversation. It will set realistic expectations of both price and value for your customers. When left to their own devices, the customer will make up their own price and value proposition. Given enough time and imagination, the customer will take 5% of fact and 95% of horse manure and make truth out of it. Without a frame of reference on pricing, we set ourselves up for failure. That is when and why we arrive at shock and impasse when it comes to pricing. The first person to mention money does not lose. Their rate of success is much higher than those who delay or are afraid to have the price conversation. State your price and then stop talking. Let it sink in. It is best done in person, face-to-face. Avoid email for pricing conversations. It is so easy to ignore first and second offers without context. Go see your customers, get them on a video call, or pick up the phone. It is easy to dismiss others via email, but much harder to do in person. Make it personal as it is. And when it is personal, you can control both the intent and the outcome of the call. Email is by far the least personal of these methods. Don't ever apologize for your pricing. It shows a lack of belief and a lack of true value. You can apologize when you are unable to accept the anemic counteroffer, but never on your pricing. Be proud of what you sell and what it is worth. Do you think the Rolex dealer apologizes for the price of their watches? Why don't you go and give that a shot? Tell me how that works out for you. Now, the Rolex dealer has a distinct advantage that most may not. He or she is backed by the prestige and perception of the value of their product. Rolex stands for quality. Rolex is always the example I use when I need to describe a product or service like this. I don't need to explain the value of the brand to anyone. It has an immediate and settling reaction. The question becomes, what about what you sell? Does it do the same? Why or why not? And what are you doing to change that trajectory? My new book, You Can't Lead from the Back of the Room, Nor Should You, is now available on Audible as an audiobook download. If you like what you have heard here today, please consider downloading a copy or two. You can always send one to a friend. You can go to cdmediaconsulting.com and follow the instructions to order.